Aussie.
Alrighty, we're live on Sunday night. Hello, Mega Leech. Rockin' and roll. Oh, look, I want to show off a new shirt again, so I'll put my laptop slightly further away and adjust it. Now I can show off with my, what does it say? Welcome, fabulous cocktails here. I like to think there are. Sorry, just did that little bit. Come on. There. Fabulous cocktails here. In fact, I'm going to pour myself one now. Even though the bottled cocktail, just an old-fashioned. Out of my Infinity whiskey bottle, I just decided to repurpose the Infinity whiskey as an old-fashioned. And I made a spicy... Ooh. that second ice crack put me off, made me think for a second that it was the glass cracking. Thank you, Kirsten. I like the shirt too. This is the last of the new... Actually, 2 more are meant to arrive in the mail. This is the last of the shirts I have that I haven't worn on the stream yet. So welcome to Fabulous Cocktails. I'm having an old-fashioned. Squeeze a bit of orange zest on it. And I'm going to put a cherry in it just because I can. Not many cherries left in this jar. And I used a lot of the accumulated cherry juice in this jar in the making of the sugar syrup for this old-fashioned. I got raw sugar, cinnamon, nutmeg, cloves, orange peel, and some chai syrup I'd already made to make a spicy sugar syrup to give the old-fashioned a bit of character. But this is my first time tasting it. Oh my God, it's really good. Fucking winner chicken dinner. Just a really lightly spicy old-fashioned, very warming going down. Not too spicy, not too sweet. Of course, I put bitters in it as well. Man, this is fucking good. I'm a fucking genius. Oh, Justin, sad reacts only. You're back in Canberra. I hope you enjoyed what you were doing in Melbourne. I mean, I have to admit, I haven't been doing... I know. I was about to say, I haven't been doing anything. I'm going, complete lie. I actually had my first going out date night with Mrs. Angry last night in about 4 or 5 months. At least I've lost track. I think it was 4 months, 5. I don't know. It was a long time. Like July, something like that. Last time we went out on a date. We've been having all our date nights at home since then. But we went out for a date to a restaurant down near St Kilda Beach called Chiquialina. Fucking great. Really good food. Drinks were pretty good too. Winner. We'll be going back there. It was good. It was a good night out. Next date night, we're going away. So I'll be away for the weekend. One after that, we might go to a movie. We might be up for going to movies at that point. It'll be the first time we've been to a movie in a very long time. But yeah. So. Oh, man. That's really good. It's just like complete blind experiment. Like, fuck it, man, I'm going to chuck this in, and I'm going to chuck that in, and I'm going to chuck that in, and I'm going to chuck that in, and mix it up, and it better work. And it worked. It was really, really warm going down. Oof. And not just the whiskey warm, those, cinnamon and whatnot warm as well. And it's not, it's sweet, because A, whiskey's reasonably sweet, And B, I did put sugar syrup in. Not a huge amount. That was, what was this? This was a 700 ml bottle. There's probably 500 or 600 mils of whiskey in it. And it's my own home blended whiskey, what we call an infinity bottle. Little bits from a bunch of nearly empty whiskey bottles went in there. And I put about 500 or 600 mils of whiskey. I put 80 to 90 mils of the sugar syrup in it, like 1 gigaful basically, and Angostura bitters, orange bitters, and a little bit of chocolate bitters. Oh yes, Kirsten, your whiskey show. You're saying you went to a whiskey show last night, and kind of jealous of that. I mean, I did have a good night, but a whiskey show sounds good. Justin, I can understand wanting to pick a new career and not being Canberra, but you got to find your own way. But I absolutely understand that feeling. So I'm just messing with my mouse. Oh, there we go. That's a bit better. Came home with 4 scotches. Wow. So you're really getting into it. I'm trying to think, what am I going to buy next? Because what I've got coming, I bought a lot of gins recently. And sometime in the next week or two, probably, depends how long the order's taken on that sort of thing, I'm getting the Archie Rose lime gin and eau de vie. I've got way too many rums. I got to stop buying rums. Thinking something whiskey next. I'm just thinking, yeah, I want to buy a whiskey. Actually, I need some brandy. And a 23rd Street distillery is meant to be on special at Dan's this week, but it wasn't in stock in the one I went to. I got to remember at some point to go into another one and try and get it. Because I like my brandy cocktails. So Kirsten, it was 3 scotches and a bourbon. Oh, and you tried the eau de vie? How are you ranking eau de vie? I'm really interested to get an experiment. Because it's funny, because that's going to be like the third experimental Australian thing I got recently, because I got 2 from Never Never. I got their version of Geneva and their version of eau de vie. And then the eau de vie. So I need to come up with a creative way to drink them. So we let it breathe on the glass. Okay. All right. So it's something that develops over time from the sounds of that, Kirsten? Justin, what do I imagine living in Canberra would be like? Fucking boring. AZ used to describe it as boring mixed with moments of terrifying violence. So it's just, yeah. I just don't think Canberra's for me. I could probably find a way. Canberra just feels like one big fucking suburb with no center. I suppose I'm at one level, it's just inertia on my part. I've landed in Melbourne and I really like it and don't want to go anywhere else. So, but yeah, no. No, you're making me think of it now. The thought of moving to Canberra, it just feels like I'm rubbing a cheese grater on my face. It just feels like such a horrible idea. It feels like a terrible idea. So no offense to any parochial Canberrans. You do you. Tain't gonna be me though. I was just thinking with these shirts, because look at this shirt. It's the first time I've worn it. I really like it. With some of my wackier cocktail shirts, if I wear these to go out to bars, I wonder what reaction they'll get from bar staff. Will they just think they're funny? Or they think I'm a weird obsessive guy and they should be careful of me. I don't know. Hopefully people would just think it's funny. Like I'm just wearing fun shirts. I just saw them and said, no, these designs are fun. I like these. See, yeah, Coconut Cleaver, you think they're kind of boring, cultivates violence. That's what AZ said. AZ said, him growing up in Canberra, he said it's mostly boring, spiced up with moments of terrifying violence. Ah, that's an interesting point, Kirsten. Good distilleries in Canberra. Mind you, we are somewhat spoiled in Australia with good distilleries basically everywhere. Kirsten, so you think they'll think they're funny? I hope they think they're funny. These are just like, wacky shirts. This one, I think this one would be fun to wear to a cocktail bar, actually. Fabulous. I mean, they're all cocktail themed, but this one actually having the Vegas style sign on it. Welcome, fabulous cocktails here. You don't want anyone to get too close to them because the printing's actually low quality, quite honestly. They're made in some factory in China. They're not very sharp edged. It's very soft edges on all the printing. So not the greatest quality shirts, but they're fun designs, and that's why I've got. So I should count them. I haven't counted them. I think I've got at least 20. And I got another 10 of the ones that are just that 50s, 60s retro style that aren't specifically cocktail shirts. I think I've got to the stage where I've got like 20 cocktail shirts. I haven't counted them. It's a slightly daunting thought. Just in the last 12 months that I've got a whole bunch of these. Man. Okay. Man, I am glad I made this. So I got this. I got my winter colada liqueur in there. And I've got my freezer martini. I might make another bottled Woodson and Ford, which is basically my favorite cocktail at the moment. Because when you make a bottled one, you can mess around. Because a Woodson and Ford is rum, apple brandy, sweet vermouth, and Benedictine. And because I have multiple rums and I even have multiple apple brandies, and if I can restock my favorite one, which is more an apple liqueur than an apple brandy counts, but I can really, with a whole bottle, I can do a blend. So it's got a bit more going on. So if you make, one and there's one rum and one apple brandy, it's really nice. But if you make a bigger one, you can do a blend. So there's multiple rums and multiple apple brandies in there. And, you got a bit going on in there. But it's a really good drink. I love boozy drinks, hence the old fashioned. Man, this is not lasting long. Well, it's really good. It's a big question. How long will this last? Probably a while. But it's tempting now, that I can just go to the fridge and pour a drink, which is why I made them for convenience. It's also, mildly dangerous, but I try to. I think I had my lesson however, it must be a couple months ago now that I fell asleep on the live streams. Jesus. Oh, what a wreck. And it's not just that I fell asleep, but before I decided to disappear in those streams, I was basically fucked. I was basically fucked, and not at all in a good way. So I'm trying to find. If I go back to when I was referencing the fact I fell asleep. Out of Facebook jail. Okay, so in September, I was joking about the fact I fell asleep on streams. So it was basically early September. Yeah, it was basically early September that I actually fell asleep. So where are we now? We're November now. September. October. So it was 2 months ago. Okay. So I've been good. 2 months ago, I fell asleep on streams and I went, don't do that again. And I think that was like a wake up call. It was like when just recklessly pour drinks and don't measure them and don't stay conscious of what you're drinking, that's when you get fucked up. That's why I like when I go out with people, I don't do shots. If someone's doing shots, I go, no, I'm having proper drinks. Thank you for fucking stove. The fucking stove's doing its buzzing thing. Please excuse me for a moment while I go and stop it. I'm not going to do the proper thing. I just have to move it a little bit and it'll stop for a little while. Long enough until I go to bed. If I want it to stop for a very long time, I have to do a particular film. Anyway, you don't necessarily want to know that. Fucking hell, this is good. Again, this is probably something that as recently as 2 years ago, I would not have been as into, but my beverage palate has developed in the last couple of years. And the complexity of that, like a whole blend of whiskeys and then the spicy sugar syrup I've put in here and spicy sugar syrup and bitters. That's the thing I was trying to think of. Bitters. And I just reminded myself I was maybe going to make a shorts video tonight. Yes, that was basically it. Big Leech, I just gave the oven a quick reach around to silence for the night. The thing I just did then will keep it, I think, we'll keep it quiet for the next 2 hours. For some reason, at a certain point, and this is the behavior of the stove is far less logical than I'm going to make it sound at the moment. But at a certain point, the clock on the stove decides to click over to 12 o'clock. And at that point, it just stops buzzing. Not a full throat, like because you have alarms on timers on the stove. It's not actually the full volume timer, but it's this low level buzz, which is just fucking annoying. And if you change the time on the clock at all, like even by a minute, it will stop, but for a comparatively short amount of time. I think it'll stop for at least 2 hours now. If I want it, like in the mornings when I get up, because this is my office, I work just there. This is my office during the days. I don't want the fucking stove buzzing during the day. So it's always buzzing when I wake up in the morning. The thing you have to do is put the advanced time thing on the fridge, press the button, and take it all. And I've learned this through experimentation. You have to take it all the way through to 2400 hours and let it go. And that will stop it from buzzing for the longest time. But again, it's not 12 hours because you think like, oh, so Angry, what you're telling me is that's 12 hours because when the clock advances from 2400, when it hits 12, no, it's not 12 hours. At some point, it'll be ticking along in its own merry way, and then somewhere around 8 to 10 hours later, it will just arbitrarily go, I'm ticking over to 12 o'clock and starting buzzing, and it's like, fuck you, stove, fuck you. I don't know what the fuck it is. I mean, like we even considered just trying to fucking kill the clock on the stove. I got a screwdriver in there, and we're trying to, and we couldn't make it. And then we said, maybe if we get a screwdriver and sort of lever this cover back a bit and pour water down there, maybe that'll fuck it up, because we don't use that timer on the stove. And it didn't work. And just like so, we're just like, yeah, you know what? Fuck it. It's just a weird inconvenience of this rental accommodation. Was it Mega Leech? Switch the main switch until yes. Yeah, we could do that. No, it's just it's look, it's a minor inconvenience. It is annoying. It is abso-fucking-lutely annoying. But it's a minor annoyance, so we let it go. I was just musing, and Kirsten, you might have some input on this. I was going to keep this old fashioned in the fridge, because then I wouldn't necessarily have to pour it over ice. But I actually like pouring it over ice. But I was wondering if the flavors might develop more if it isn't in the fridge. I'm interested in your views on that, Kirsten. Would it be better? Because, yeah, theoretically, if I keep it in the fridge, I don't have to put it on ice, but I just kind of like putting it on ice anyway. But would the flavors develop more if it wasn't in the fridge? I don't know. I literally do not know. What are we up to? It's 8:20, and I've finished my old-fashioned almost. It's like, pace yourself, Angry. Pace yourself. Or maybe make one more drink? 2 more drinks? Who knows? I don't want to be too fucking rat-assed. Certainly not going to get like Tim Smithed tonight. Might get half Tim Smithed. But look, okay, here's the thing. That whole thing with that piece of shit Tim Smith lying through his fucking teeth. I had a couple of wines with friends, and I thought I was okay. You had more than a couple of wines, you motherfucker. I'm having this one old-fashioned, and I gave myself a generous pour. I would bet I am over the legal limit now, because I gave myself a generous pour of this old-fashioned. I'd be willing to bet I'm over the limit now. I mean, I'm not leaving the house anyway, but I can kind of feel the buzz, and I'm like, yeah, no. I think this was actually more than 3 standard drinks, and I've drunk it in 20 minutes. So, okay, Kirsten, good tip. Keep it in the fridge because I've lowered the ABV. And that just lets me pour it straight from. I am going to keep it in the fridge. My various fridge and freezer drinks. You appreciate it, Kirsten. I don't know if you were on the stream. One a couple times ago, I poured from my freezer martini, and it had actually frozen a little bit. I had a little martini slushy, and it's like, oh, my last top up. Obviously, I didn't use Navy strength. I didn't use any Navy strength gin, and so it froze a little bit. So when I did the last top up, I did Navy strength, and lo and behold, it didn't freeze because I'd upped the ABV. This, I think, would actually freeze if I put it in the freezer because it's not overproof at all. Oh yes, and I'm sure did I don't know, Kirsten. I'm not sure if you were on. I feel like you were when I was talking about wanting to get another Australian Navy strength gin because I was going through the Never Never at a rate of knots. I went to the Dan Murphy's that has a big old fucking wall of Australian gins, like really impressive for Dan Murphy's range of Australian gins. And they had like at least 8 Australian Navy strengths, including Larrikin, one of the ones you recommended. But 23rd Street Distillery was $20 off. So I got that, and I did make a martini with it the other night. Fuck yeah. It's I would say 23rd Street's Navy strength gin is not as subtle as some of the gins I've got. Like, doesn't have that really unique. Like, for instance, okay, I'll be I'll pander for a little while, Kirsten. Archie Rose. That's weird. Someone opened the sliding door to the kitchen and just went, "Oh no, he's talking to people. I don't want to go in there." The Archie Rose Bone Dry is a really unique, great tasting gin, and has real character. And several of the other ones, Australian ones I've had in the last 12 months, have real interesting individual character. 23rd Street's Navy Strength is a very good gin, but it's kind of one note. Oh, it's gin. Okay, juniper, gin, strong alcohol. It's very nice. It made a great martini, but it was kind of one note. Whereas a lot of the gins I've got in there, they've got some really interesting botanicals in them, and you get a whole bunch of different stuff happening when you drink them. 23rd Street Navy is definitely good. It's definitely good, but it's kind of it's gin. It's gin with juniper. That's what it is. Makes a good fucking martini that will really get you drunk though, because it's 57% alcohol. Okay, this was something I'd been toying with for a while. Make another bottle, because I made a bottled old fashioned before, and I mean, I might even top that up. I might think, like I said, I was talking about getting some more whiskey. I might just look at the ones I've got and go, oof, I might empty that bottle, pour it into my old fashioned. That will give me some shelf space on the drink cart, and I can go and buy another whiskey. I was kind of waiting for some of the distilleries to release a whiskey, because there was a rumor that some of them were going to release a whiskey before Christmas. Looking at you, Tiny Bear. But we shall see. And it also depends, every now and then, either the Coles or the Woolies bottle shops occasionally have these surprise unadvertised specials on their shelves, and it's like, fuck, that looks okay, I'm getting that. So I'm keeping an eye on that as well. But yeah, now I've put myself on the mailing list for a bunch of distilleries, and it's just like, send me a message when you got a special release, people. I'm kind of interested in your special releases. So, and there's still time for someone to release something before Christmas. Yeah, and based on what I learned from ordering stuff in the last week, if you want something to get delivered by Christmas, you want to order it latest first week of December. And Kirsten answered me, Archie's releasing a special whiskey December 1. Looks like that might be the winner then. Like the order I placed last week for the lime gin and eau de vie, I was really tempted to get one of the bottled cocktails or that little taster set, and I didn't. I thought, no, I'll just get these. Fuck it, man. If you're releasing a special whiskey on December 1st, maybe I'll order something extra when I get that. Because on top of making really good quality gins and whiskies, Archie Rose makes some pretty good bottled cocktails. I've had 3 Archie Rose bottled cocktails, I think. Very good stuff. I've still got the Negroni because it's a little bit bitter for me, but it's a good thing to have for someone who likes Negronis and say, oh, do you like Negronis? I've got a bottled one, and it's probably better than most Negronis you've had in pubs. It's got a nice sort of smoky characteristic to it. Anyway, I'm going to eat a maraschino cherry. Thought I could hear rain, but I might have been imagining it. So much rain floating about at the moment. Anything can happen, so. I'm trying to decide whether or not to set up and shoot a little video to make it a short for YouTube. Because I've got a video scheduled for tomorrow where I make a bunch of stuff with pineapple. And then I've got a video scheduled for Friday where I make my winter colada liqueur from the stuff I made with pineapple. And I had this idea that I might sort of change up my schedule a bit to do a short, YouTube's attempt to compete with TikTok, do a short on Wednesdays and do a normal video on Monday and Friday. I mean, ultimately, I might change it to just do one sort of regular video and one short. Because I've been watching a bunch of videos on YouTube, people saying like, ooh, how to grow your channel and blah, 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 blah. And a few of them have basically said making lots of videos may not be in your best interests. So, I don't know. I'm just doing it for shits and giggles anyway. But that's just me thinking. There's Difford's cocktails of the day. It is raining. It wasn't my imagination. Ooh, and today is National Pickle Day. Well, isn't that good to know that today is National Pickle Day? What national days are coming up in the next couple of days? Gillette's birthday. What's in a cornichon? Tequila, sherry, Grand Marnier, vermouth, chili liqueur. Fuck, that sounds okay. Tequila, sherry, Grand Marnier, or another orange cognac liqueur, vermouth, dry vermouth, chili liqueur, and cranberry juice. That, and then you're supposed to garnish it with cocktail onions and cornichons. That actually sounds kind of good. That sounds kind of good. All right. Looking at the next couple of days, does anything? Havana's birthday. Founded as San Cristobal de la Habana in a natural bay. So the capital of the Havana the One. A fruity, minty take on a daiquiri. Wow, it's actually starting to rain pretty seriously outside at the moment. Oh, it's Martin Scorsese's birthday on the 17th. Okay. Havana the One. Mint, honey, rum, lime, apple juice. Wow, what a weird cocktail. Again, and this is the thing, saying like white or gold Miller rum, lime juice, and a lot of apple juice. That's like trying to hide the fact there's alcohol in it. But man, I could actually see that. Rather than using honey, I have a honey syrup. I could do a riff on that. White rum, lime juice, apple juice. That's actually pretty good. But what's in a casino cocktail? Gin, maraschino, lemon juice, and orange bitters. So that's a twist on a gin sour that actually sounds pretty good. Gin. So Old Tom is a sweet gin. So I could pick a gin from my collection that's on the sweeter side. Maraschino liqueur is the sweetener, and lemon juice and orange bitters. That's It's Difford's version of Ensign's 1916 original. All right, so the casino's in Hugo Ensign's 1916 recipes for mixed drinks. He says 2 dashes maraschino, 2 dashes orange bitters, 2 dashes lemon juice. So that's mainly Old Tom with just dashes. Yeah, I honestly think Simon Difford might be a bit of a wanker, but I think he's on to his recipe. I think he has improved on that old recipe. Yeah, I think this is one time where I think Simon Difford. Actually, I think Simon Difford is regularly on the money. Honestly, I use his site a lot, but that one I think he has probably improved that cocktail quite a bit. Kirsten, you reckon rum and apple juice is delicious? That actually does sound pretty good. I'm kinda on board with that. But oof. Maybe I could do that. Happy birthday, Martin Scorsese. So I'm just thinking which of my gins is closest to an Old Tom? An Old Tom is on the sweeter side, so oof, what do we got here? Not bone dry for sure. Maybe the Applewood, which is an Australian native botanical lemon aspen. Actually, speaking of Sweden, probably I've got the Poor Tom's Pina Colada gin. That probably fits the bill. I might do that. I mean, I was thinking of doing something really simple, like a pink martini, because I'm just thinking of making it short, just do something quick. So it's got to be a simple thing, but that's pretty simple. Gin maraschino, and just say, hey, here's a quick video for a twist on a gin sour called the Casino. A sweeter gin like an Old Tom, maraschino, lemon juice, orange bitters, bam. I could do that in 60 seconds. And say happy birthday, Martin Scorsese. That's it. But then again, actually, this probably suits Casino. I was thinking of changing into my formal cocktail making gear, but given Casino was about Vegas and whatnot, this probably suits the whole theme. So I might, if you will excuse me for just a minute. Sorry, I'm also getting bored. I'm stabbing my big ice cube with my cocktail skewer. Goes deeper in, and I can have my ice block on the end of a skewer. And I think, am I right? Is this also say maraschino cherry? Nice. I get to eat my second maraschino. Fucking hell, the fridge is singing the song of its people. That is really loud. All right, while that's happening, I'm going to go grab my gear and set up. And the fridge might stop making that terrible noise while I'm gone. Just a sec. Oh, I gotta put my lights on, don't I? All right. It's quiet all night. In the angry sound. Okay. Oh, and I got my lights. Got my lights. I've slightly, well, actually, it's probably fair to say I've significantly changed my lighting setup for videos, and I like it. All right, I'm going to put this up because I'm going to be standing up and walking around. I like it because I've now edited a couple of videos. Actually, it might be easier to plug this in over here. And I can put my fairy lights on while I do it. All right. Come on, fairy lights. Let's get down to business. To defeat the hunger. Yes, I am singing songs from Mulan, which I watched so many times with my kids when they were younger. Quite like it. Right, let's do that. I think that goes on an okay cycle. And we'll do this. Right. There we go. Sitting down. And I'm short. I am actually short. What am I talking about? Right. Oh, I brought the tripod, but not the camera. I'm in Egypt. I have to go out of the room for a minute again. Less than a minute. I promise I'll be less than a minute. All right, I'm back. Closing that door. Putting my audio recorder here. Hey, Safa, how you doing, man? Just setting up to really quickly do a short video. Right, you bloody well, right. So let's. Okay, we want to sweet a gin for this. Porton's Pina Colada. I only made 5,000 of these. I've got bottle 3021 of 5,000. There you go. Trivia. Hey, Bum Fungus on Twitch. How you doing, man? I'm just setting up to really quickly make a cocktail, essentially. I might do it in a Nick and Nora. Because my Nick and Nora glass is so sexy. Make sure there are no bugs in it. Don't want bugs in our drink. Right, so I need gin and I need maraschino. What is my maraschino? There's not much of it left. Croatian maraschino. Somehow in Australia, I end up with Croatian liqueurs. It's what's in Dan Murphy's, basically. And orange bitters, I think it is. Double check. Maraschino lemon juice. Fuck, I have to squeeze a lemon. I'm actually out of lemon juice. I have lemons. Lemons. I gotta squeeze some lemon juice. Where is my lemon juice squeezer? There it is. Don't panic. You probably just heard that noise. Nothing to worry about. I just knocked over some Tupperware containers. Just have to pick them up now. Don't want to leave a mess in the kitchen. So this is a nice, easy cocktail, and I think it's a bit classy too. I mean, yeah, that's what we want: classy and easy. So I thought, Ms. Buttrose, I did see that Ita Buttrose, who is really conservative, actually managed to say the LNP government are being a pack of cunts, harassing the ABC. Right. I need to cut the lemon. I need to squeeze the lemon. Got to squeeze it. Try a little tenderness. All right. Half a lemon squeezed. I think that's probably enough lemon juice, but just in case, I'm going to squeeze the other half too. Bum fungus, is hot down here. You're sweating in Sydney. It's friggin' cold here. Like, it feels like it's only about 10 Celsius here. Absolutely absurd weather for November. Absolutely absurd. But we are in a La Nina, which broadly means more rain and cooler temperatures. Man. Look how dark this syrup I made today is. A dark and spicy sugar syrup. Put that in the fridge. Hey, Greg, how you doing, man? So, Kirsten, you've had some really... Oh, no. Oh, you had some sad news. Okay. All the best wishes, love and care to you, Kirsten. I hope you feel better after having a cry in the shower. But, yeah, I completely understand needing some you time. You get some bad news because that always sucks. Right, so I'm going to finish making this. So orange bitters, that's the other thing I need, which is just down here. All right, so 45 mils gin, 3/4 ounce of maraschino, 1/2 ounce of lemon juice. And this is a shake. Shake it like a Polaroid picture. Oh God, I'm just trying to think. Do I want to do this yet? Complicated. I've just got a question in my own head now about what I want to do. Do I want to reshoot making this later or fuck around tonight and do it? Maybe I'll fuck around tonight and do it, actually. Right. So I'll turn this around. You see the other side of my kitchen, and you'll see me fucking around with the drink. And then I'm going to fake it to camera. It's kind of like sex, faking it. Right. Okay. So I'm going to turn this around. Now you're seeing the other side of my kitchen. So, hey, yeah, all right. Other side of the kitchen. I'll do this so you can just see me while I'm doing it. I'll have a chat while I'm doing this. I need to clean the bench top for a start. I'm sure it's enthralling viewing, so I'm just cleaning the bench top. Ugh. Alrighty, that's clean. Okay. Mix that. Okay, so that's done. I'm going to put my mixing glass here. I put the ingredients in. God damn it. All right, put that about there. Sure thing. Get my camera and got to line up close up of this. So put on some brighter lights. So It's like Hollywood, baby, Hollywood. Let's see. Lights are a bit brighter now. I was just gonna like scratch on something on my fucking forehead and gotta change the settings on my camera. Right. Okay. And menu, shooting mode, high speed. Zoom in. I think that's about right. I think that's framed up appropriately. Get my G out. Right. So, I just gotta get now. So I'm gonna sneeze. Lemon juice. So here we go. Gin, maraschino, and lemon juice. So first up is it's like 45 ml, 45 mils, 3/4 and quarter. Okay. So 1.5. Okay, ready to go. I'm back here and I'm switching on the camera. And we do that. And getting the sausage ready. We'll pour that in there. Now, maraschino, 3/4. All right. Maraschino. Now, lemon juice. Where is my strainer? I need a strainer for this because I don't want the lemon pulp in there. Half an ounce. All right, 1/2 ounce of lemon juice. Put that over there. And splish. I slow that down in slow motion and it looks sexy. How much? Oh man, what the fuck is my laptop doing? Just 1 dash of orange bitters. Okay. Gotta try and get a dash happening properly in here. And that's it. Okay. Oh, now I've got to stir it as well. It's nice. Stir this mother. Just dropping some ice in. That's actually probably enough. Now I'm going to get a slow-mo of me stirring it. Where's the finger? Finger's in here. All right. Then a slow-mo of me stirring it. Yeah, that's actually pretty good. All right. Now, is anyone getting vertigo from me moving the camera around? Return to your regularly scheduled program. Okay, stop that. Menu, image size. Shooting mode. Maybe. Sorry, my camera's flicking me around at the moment. Okay, just got to change something. All right. All right, I'm here. I'm just, oh, geez, that's probably too bright. Let's put this in here. Okay. How y'all doing? Has everyone handled me just going off and doing weird shit? How's the chat going? Is everyone good? Yes, like yes, Saha. It was very lucky I didn't go to the Yak this weekend because it's flooded virtually. All right, got to turn the camera around. See how that looks. That looks okay. Do this. Gonna make a short video. Damn. There we go. All right, this will be quick. G'day, cocktail lovers. Going to make a quick, easy riff on a gin sour called the Casino, which seems appropriate for Martin Scorsese's birthday. First up, you want 1.5 ounces of an Old Tom style gin. That's a sweeter style gin, 45 mils in the mixing glass. Fucking stirred this and it's shaken. I'm an idiot. That's okay. It doesn't matter. To this, we add about 3/4 ounce or 22.5 mils of maraschino liqueur. Then ideally we have a fresh lemon for which we can add 1/2 ounce or 15 mils of lemon juice. The final touch is 1 dash of orange bitters. Nice this up a little bit. We add ice, put together our shaker, bang it in hard, shake that about 10 seconds. Where is... That's also in the dishwasher. Jesus. We strain that into a chilled cocktail glass. All right, managed to skewer the maraschino cherry. Garnish with a maraschino cherry on a skewer, and there is your casino cocktail. Cheers. We garnish that with a maraschino cherry on a... We garnish that with a maraschino cherry on a skewer, and there is your casino cocktail. Happy birthday, Martin Scorsese. Got to decide which of those endings I like the best. But that's it. That's it. I'm done. Now I'm going to drink that. Turn off the extra lights because they're too bright. I only want that for the videos. To try and light myself up. All right. So now I can just sit down and chill out. Okay. We're good. It's all good in the hood. No, that's still not right. Come here. That's a bit better. Come on, what's going on? What's going on, computer? All right. The cocktail. What do I even have that out for? I didn't use it. Got to remember that I didn't use it, so I don't need to clean it. Ooh, I need to put freaking caps on stuff. Got my booze uncapped in front of me. Gin. Maraschino. Ooh, fuck me. Come on. That almost went sideways. I've got my casino liqueur. Nice. Wow. That's pretty good. Nice, simple, slightly sweet, slightly sour. Celtic King, hello. Cheers to you, buddy. Oh, so another weekend over. What do I do? Oh my God, I watched a couple of the new Netflix movies today because it was just like, fuck it, man. I am chilling out and vegging out and not doing much. I say that. I did actually edit a couple of videos, but I watched The Harder They Fall, which is a Western that centers around black cowboys. I thought you might like the shirt, Celtic. I like the shirt. And it's very interesting. They do a little thing at the start that says, while this story is fictional, these people existed. And what they're trying to say is there were a lot of black cowboys and there were a lot of black people, pioneering the westward expansion in the US. And so all the Westerns you've seen up to this point where everyone's white, they're all bullshit. This one, everyone's black. And yes, well, there were definitely black townships, which is a thing they're trying to highlight. Doing this Western with an all black cast, I feel like is trying to draw the audience's attention to, you are used to seeing Westerns with all white casts, and that is bullshit and unrepresentative of actual history. So this one has an all black cast, and they talk in like modern parlance. So I think they've made a decision of, rather than, trying, because who knows how people really spoke then, rather than trying to be, historically accurate, we want to get the vibe of these people. So they're going to talk in a way that you're used to people talking today. And the soundtrack is very modern and hip hop. It is good. It's a fucking great cast. The central cast in the movie are amazing. They are very good. It's very bloody. It's very violent and very bloody. It's very unrealistic, particularly scenes where, people just walking down the main street of town with revolvers going, pew, pew, and plugging people who are a long way away with these fucking revolvers, which were notoriously inaccurate. So it's quite unrealistic. And someone goes, pew, pew, and two people drop dead. And it's like, not quite. That's not really how it would have worked. But it's a very entertaining movie. This is definitely very violent. If you don't want blood sprays everywhere when people get shot, don't watch The Harder They Fall. But it's pretty good. We're set up for a sequel. And then I watched much, 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 much lighter fare, a very, very silly movie, which is apparently the most popular thing on Netflix at the moment, called it's Red something. It's got The Rock and Wonder Woman and fucking Deadpool in it. Ryan Reynolds and oh god, I'm blanking on the actress who's Wonder Woman momentarily. But anyway, it's a silly sort of caper con jewel thief movie. It's very silly. It's good fun, very silly. Thank you, Megaleech, Gal Gadot, and it's called Red Notice. I thought Red Notice was very silly entertainment. If you just want something where you literally should not be thinking when you watch it, Red Notice could be for you. It was very funny in the first, 5 minutes. There were two incredibly blatant product placement advertisements, one for Porsche and one for Ryan Reynolds' aviation gin. It actually just cracked me up. The ads were so overt. They were obviously ads for these products. And I mean, an ad for Porsche is a bit more esoteric because, Jesus, who the fuck can afford a new Porsche? But, you know, most people can afford aviation gin. And there was a very blatant product placement ad for aviation gin. So, Celtic, more you look at the shirt, the more you like it. Oh, yeah. I've said before, there's a whole bunch of these sites. If you search one of them, you'll see all the others. The easiest one for me to refer to, it might be the one where I got this from. It's the first one I ordered from. I've ordered shirts from a couple of these sites. Basically, if you order one once, unless you're like in incognito mode, you'll get ads for them forever, particularly on Facebook. And the first one, and maybe this one, was called Hawalili, which is Hawalili, hawalili.com. And while, you know, they're like these Chinese websites, which can be super fucking dodgy, and I did get ripped off by two of, not for shirts, for other things, and I've learned not to buy those certain things from these fly-by-night websites. But these shirt sites have actually proved to be reliable. Sometimes the order takes a while to get completely filled, but it gets filled. And yeah, if you search one, like that one, Hawalili, you will get ads for all of them forever. And it's like they have an absurd amount of designs. If you go on them now, they have all these Christmas designs. And you get these ones, some T-shirts. They have, you know, weird sort of Trumpy American Patriot shirts as well, and which is hilarious. That I think the people on the Chinese website probably don't know what the stuff they're putting on the shirts means. But they certainly don't care because they're trying to get money out of Americans. But some of the images and slogans are straight up fashy, which is quite funny. Oh, hey, Kirsten, yes, it might be Ryan Reynolds writes into his contract there needs to be an aviation placement, because there was a super blatant aviation placement that went on for a couple of minutes in the movie. Chris, hello. How you doing, man? Man, this is a really simple... This is such a light drink. This gin and lemon juice and maraschino. It's just really light. I'm now thinking what this would be like made with a Navy strength gin. What do you mean, Celtic? I should come out with a line of angry shirts? I have a line of angry shirts with my face on it. I'm not even joking. Redbubble is the best quality one. It's not the cheapest. It's not the cheapest, but it's the best quality. Ooh, an Angry Aussie mini skirt. Nice. The Angry Aussie shop on Redbubble. Wow, I forgot some of the stuff I'd put on there. Okay. So I'm just going to check something here with this URL. All right. Seeing as you asked. Ew, what am I doing? Stupid laptop, what are you doing? No, I don't sell many of them because I don't promote them, but I have sold some over the times. That's Angry Aussie Designs. Oh, Kirsten, the shower cry helped. Now you're doing skincare routine. Well, that sounds awesome, quite honestly. And yeah, I've got this in my head. I think later in the week, I might make this drink with a Navy strength rum because I feel like that would be really good. Because it's just this really nice, light, bright, clean taste. And I think making it with a Navy strength, very juniper forward gin. And so in my mind, that's either of the ones I have, the Never Never or the 23rd Street, would give it a bit of punch. I think it would actually be a really good drink. Celtic, you're going to buy the Angry shirts. Up to you, man. Up to you. But there's a couple of designs on there. Yeah, I have sold some over the years, but I don't push it. So no one's bought one in yonks. But there's also some on a cheaper site. The print isn't as good quality. It's just Redbubble is very good quality. Emo unicorn. What's the edgiest thing I've done in my life? For those who aren't on Twitch, that's a question from Twitch. Emo unicorn. What's the edgiest thing? Depends if you're being sarcastic or sincere. And in fact, either way, it might have been going to. There is a guy who is very big in New South Wales politics, certainly in the 80s, think like from the 70s through to the 90s, the Reverend Fred Nile with his Festival of Light. He was a like far right loony fucking Christian fundamentalist who held a Senate seat in New South Wales for like 20 years. And anyway, he did a rally in the town where I was at uni in the deep dark past. And we decided to basically stage a protest at his fuckwit rally. And so I went there and I made up a sign. On one side of it said "Smash the State," and the A's were turned into anarchist symbols. And the other side said "Kiss Me, Fred." And the D on Fred had a devil horn and tail on it. And so basically, whenever he was talking his authoritarian bullshit, I would hold up the "Smash the State" side. And whenever he was talking his homophobic bullshit, I would hold up the "Kiss Me, Fred" sign. And these guys, one younger guy and one older guy, said like they wanted to talk to me outside, and they were trying to say, "What's wrong with you?" And one of my friends came out too. He came out because he thought they were threatening to beat me up, and they weren't, as it turned out. But it's like they were basically saying, like, you know, I was sick and gross and wrong for whatnot, and they went, "Oh wait, you think I'm gay? I'm not gay." And then they were genuinely shocked when I said I'm not gay, and they were basically like, "So why do you care what we do to the poofters?" And I went, "Because I'm a human being with integrity and basic." And it was really surprising to me. These guys were super fucking shocked that I was aggressively defending gay rights while not being gay. They just assumed, because I was like, "Shut the fuck up, you homophobic jerk." They assumed I was gay. And when the penny dropped, that they're just going, oh, their whole thing is they think I'm gay, and what's wrong with you? No, I'm not gay. And they were like, and they were so shocked. They were like, why would you defend gay people if you're not gay? And it's like, because I'm not a piece of shit, man. I'm not a piece of shit. Celtic, how is AIDSy? Not great, my man. Not great. I did message with him earlier tonight. His leg is very fucked up. There's some gross fucking infection in it that apparently smells really bad. So Emo Unicorn is an American. Not sure about social norms in Australia. Mainstream Australia is not particularly. Australia is way less religious than America. Mainstream Australia is not particularly anti-gay. There is a lot of homophobia about, but this particular guy, he's the equivalent of your like TV evangelists in the US, the really, really fucking weird loony side of things. So this guy was very fringe, very homophobic, a real jerk, in fact. So he is kind of like your TV evangelists in America. But mainstream Australia is very non-religious, way, way, way less religious than the US. There is definitely homophobia. It's not as bad as it used to be. When I was super fucking homophobic when I was a teenager. Kind of grew out of it when I was at college. But you get brought up to be homophobic. It's just the fucking way it is. And here's the thing. Okay, Emo Unicorn, if you want to know how non-religious Australia is, we have had a prime minister, Julia Gillard, our first female prime minister, who was an atheist, and everyone knew she was an atheist. Can you imagine an American atheist being president? I think not. But she was an atheist, and also she had no children. She was not married, but she did have a live-in boyfriend. So when she was in the prime minister's residence, the lodge, she was shacked up with her boyfriend. So the first gentleman, who we called the first bloke, he was not married to the prime minister. He was just her live-in boyfriend. So that's how non-religious mainstream Australia is. While she copped a lot of shit, she was prime minister, and everyone knew she was an atheist, and everyone knew she wasn't married to a bloke. And yes, Music it is unfortunate. Our current prime minister is a member of a fucking loopy evangelical Christian church. He's a total piece of shit. Safa, look, there are definitely atheists in the Liberal Party. There absolutely are. Malcolm Turnbull was a fucking atheist, honestly. He wasn't open like Julia Gillard, but I'd be willing to bet money Malcolm Turnbull, who briefly served as Prime Minister for the Conservative Party in Australia, I'm willing to bet he's an atheist. He just wasn't as open about it as Julia Gillard. Safa, is Scummo the first religionist PM in a while? Kevin Rudd was a Catholic, and he was very Catholic. John Howard was fucking Tony Abbott was very Tony Abbott was so conservative the Catholics weren't conservative enough for him. John Howard is very much religious. Most of our prime ministers are very religious. Hawke and Keating, not so much, actually. So in the 80s and early 90s, prime ministers Hawke and Keating don't strike me as particularly religious types. I don't know a lot about them, but not so much. Howard, very religious. Yeah, most of them are religious. But Scummo is the only happy clapper evangelical fruitcake that I can think of. Justin, you reckon there was an openly atheist PM in the Liberal Party a long time ago? Quite possibly. Safa, no, Labor are not. There's a very strong group of Catholics in the Labor Party, actually. And yes, I recommend Greg. Tony Abbott's nickname was the Mad Abbott. Tony Abbott actually served in the Catholic seminary. He was in training to be a Catholic priest, but he left because they weren't conservative enough for him. Like the people running the seminary went, this guy's a fucking nutter. He just wants to be an authoritarian. And so they sent him on a lot of the Catholic Church's charity stuff. And that was too much like communist stuff for it was too communist for Tony Abbott, so he left the seminary. Yeah, he's a fucking Fruit Loop. So how you got to be an Australian citizen? No idea. Tried to get an Australian to Howard's first term, yeah. Most Australian PMs are religious. Gough Whitlam in the 70s was definitely an atheist. Malcolm Fraser, the Liberal PM who followed him, I think was probably religious, although I don't know for sure. Then you had Hawke and Keating, who I suspect were atheist, but I couldn't really swear to that. Then we had John Howard, who was definitely religious. Then we had Christ, why has my brain suddenly gone blank on his name? Because I said it ago. The Labor guy, Kevin Rudd. He's Catholic. Kevin Rudd was mad Catholic. Then Gillard's atheist. Abbott was, I'm not sure what religion he's identified, but Catholics weren't conservative enough for him. And then Turnbull, who I honestly reckon is atheist, but I don't know if he's openly atheist. And yeah, now we've got happy clapper evangelical fuckhead Morrison. So if he's saying the unlimited Vic Power bill passed in Senate, which bill is that? Is that the pandemic bill? Yeah, that passed because Andrews actually negotiated with the crossbenchers. So much of the commentary on that is absolute bullshit. Good God, I love those maraschino cherries. They're so good. Celtic, off to bed. Night, man. Yeah, send all the positive mental thoughts and virtual hugs and whatnot to AIDSy. I think he needs them. Oh, I should drink some water. No, I haven't drunk a lot tonight, actually. I've been reasonably good. I'm definitely not Tim Smith. I don't think I'm going to get bored in a hurry with saying being pissed is being Tim Smith. I'm only half Tim Smith at the moment. I absolutely am not safe to drive. I am over the legal limit and I would not drive. But Tim Smith was way over double the legal limit. And you cannot be more than double the legal limit and not know you're pissed. That guy is a fucking sociopath. Justin, you reckon it was John Gorton who was the atheist Liberal PM? You may be right. And Chris, about a decade ago, a very Russian man struck up a casual conversation with you at the bus stop. After a couple of exchanges, asked if you're religious. You said no. He got aggressive. Asked him to calm down. You're from a different side of the planet. You can believe in anything. Secondly, get that off in transit here. Aggressive, you get your ass kicked. So relax, buddy. Frankie the Skin, my man. I have not seen you on the stream in forever. How's it going? Frankie the Skin is like old school YouTube pal. And my man is a Londoner, and we have actually got to hang out a couple times. I've only been to London twice in the last 10 years, and Frankie and I hung out each time, which was fucking awesome. Top bloke. And again, for people who say, I can't be friends with a conservative. Yes, I can. Frank believes in conservative politics, loves Margaret Thatcher, all these things. But Frank is very anti-racist, anti-bigot. It's like, dude, okay. So there's some core just political theories we disagree on. And that's a disagreement that is reasonable and respectful. But Frank and I agree on bigotry's bad. See, I don't think bigotry belongs to conservatives or, left wing. There are definitely, I've met a shit ton of people who claim to be left or progressive who are very bigoted in particular ways. There is a stereotype, and it's mainly actually promoted by really soulless politicians on the conservative side. There's a stereotype that conservatism is inherently bigoted. And I don't believe that's true, but I believe a bunch of people who in the UK, the US, Australia, who are the self-appointed mouthpieces of conservative ideology, they're super fucking bigoted. Individual conservative people are not by definition bigoted. It's just unfortunate that a whole shit ton of people who declare themselves to be the mouthpieces of conservatism are bigoted shitheads. So we're doing, Frank, you're doing something that distracts you. Realize the stream is over. Ah, that's cool, man. I'm glad you remembered to watch. Yeah, because our time zones are very different. So, Chris, your Russian pal did calm down. Stop doing it. Nice guy. Just wants you to be outside the bubble. Well, it was kind of cool that you were able to talk to him and say, calm down, bro. And he calmed down. That's nice. Safa, are the Tories worse than Liberals? No, the UK Tories and the Australian Tories are about the same, which is to say, a lot of people who declare themselves to be the spokesperson for UK Tories are fucking evil pieces of shit. A lot of people who can declare themselves to be the spokespeople of Australian Conservatives are evil pieces of shit. But individual people who believe in conservative political ideology are not necessarily horrible people. And again, people who profess to agree with a political ideology that's in line with me are not necessarily good people. I've had falling outs with people on the left multiple times because they've been real shitheads about things. So it is what it is. And this is a big thing. Like when people say, like, "Oh, you shouldn't like lose friends because of opinions." No. Opinions is, I think this economic policy would think better, or I think pineapple belongs in pizza. Those are opinions. Talking about the right of people to exist, depending on their race, ideology, gender identity, or sexuality, that's not an opinion. That's, you're either an asshole or you're not an asshole. So yeah, and yes, bum fungus shitheads come in all forms, and that's important to understand. And hello, Raiders. Chris, interesting point. Yes, there's a lot of people in the US who are great people, but are very into war and owning tons of guns. Yes. Safa, would I get into a heated argument with Lenin if he's right? Okay, I don't know Lenin well enough as an historical person. I don't like authoritarians, so I might get on well with Lenin. And this is me. See, and here's what I think is another important thing: acknowledging when you don't have a full knowledge or full understanding of something. I have not read Lenin's work. I've just kind of read other people's summaries of it. I do not know enough about Lenin to say, if I met him and conversed with him today, would we be on the same side or would we get in a fight? Is that Frankie? There's a notion lefties are by definition anti-racist, anti-bigot. Yes, you are fucking right, man. I've met people who claim to be left, progressive, whatnot, who have gross fucking bigotry. And it's really important. It is really important to acknowledge that. And yeah, Chris, some libertarians are nice. You're saying they don't understand economics. I would say they don't understand society. I would say a lot a lot of people. And in fact, particularly in the US in the last 5-10 years, a lot of people who declare themselves to be libertarians are just Republicans who don't want the rules to apply to them. I know some old school libertarians, and I'm like, cool, you've been this for literal decades. That's you, and I can respect that. But so many of the people, particularly on the internet, who declare themselves libertarian, they're actually just hard right conservatives who don't want any rules to apply to them. It's bullshit. And Safa, why does bigotry exist? Fear, my friend. Almost all bigotry is based in fear. Chris is saying Lenin was wrong. He was an authoritarian. Okay, you see, I have not read enough Lenin to. I suspected he was an authoritarian, but I have not read enough. My actual real knowledge of history and shit is bad. But yeah, if Lenin was an authoritarian, I am not on board. Whether someone says, I'm a leftist authoritarian, or it's for the people, it's for the proletariat, but then they want to introduce an authoritarian state, it's like, no, fuck that noise. Fuck that noise. And Frankie, you're not in the US, nevertheless. Oh yeah, Frankie, you love guns, supports the military action. Yeah, and this is why I think Frankie and I are friends, although I'm like radical loony left, and Frankie is a conservative, but we just try to be honest with each other. And the fact that Frank is anti-bigotry, that is huge. And so it's like, okay, Frank takes the conservative position on economic policy and a lot of things. Again, likes Margaret Thatcher. It's like, dude, we disagree, but that's cool. It's like, but you're not a piece of shit. It's like, cool. And hey, Aussie gun bunny. Oh, Safa, Putin is a fucking gangster authoritarian. He is, no, don't even say gangster with an A. He's ER. He is organized crime gangster authoritarian. Putin is a shameless, I will murder my opponents authoritarian. Putin's a fucking piece of work, man. So, Justin, you asked what you think of Vic's pandemic laws. Not going to have an opinion about something I haven't probably read. Look, I've read it. A lot of the people who express opposition to it are talking shit and are just shameless partisans. It's not perfect, but it actually does improve the current situation. Safa, who's worse, Stalin or Putin? Okay, so far, Stalin, because Stalin was just a wholesale fucking murdering people. Stalin got paranoid and just launched purges. Stalin's regime was just fucking murdering people nonstop. I mean, Stalin is literally on par with Hitler. Just with repression and murder of opponents. Stalin's fucking terrible. Aussie Gun Money. What was the name of the Colombian drug dealer tried to get into politics but failed, stormed the Capitol? I don't know. Are we talking Pablo Escobar? Because God, what a character he was. Jesus. Oh my God, Mimsy's trying to get in. She's going to bang at the door. I'm just going to go over here. Mimsy might come in and join us on the stream. Yes. Do you want to come in here, Mimsy? Come in. You weirdo. She's such a weird cat. She's going to wander around the kitchen floor looking to see if someone dropped food. But who knows? So would Putin win World War III? Putin might fucking cause World War III because I think Putin is very irresponsible. I think Putin is very egocentric and very irresponsible. So Aussie going by, okay, you reckon Pablo Escobar is basically Putin, except Putin's more successful. Oh Christ. I don't think Putin's directly killed that many people. I think, yeah, the Putin and Escobar are probably on a par with who they've killed or caused to have killed. I think they're probably on par. Justin, yeah, that is a dark triumvirate: Stalin, Mao, and Hitler. With Mao, it's slightly difficult to be sure of the millions who died under the communist regime. It's slightly difficult to be sure how many were murdered out of malice and how many died from famine because of the ridiculous bullshit ideology of the Central Communist Party. I think, again, acknowledging a great big blank point in my knowledge of history, I think, go up here, Mimsy. She's sort of sitting next to, oh, you can just see her there. Go up here and I'll pat you. Come up here. Go up on the high one. What are you doing sitting down there, you weirdo? I think Stalin and definitely Hitler. Hitler just killed people out of malice. Hitler didn't cause famines, as far as I know. Hitler just murdered millions and millions and millions of people out of malice. Stalin murdered millions out of malice and caused the death of millions out of ineptitude and stupid fucking ideology. Mao definitely killed a bunch of people out of malice. I suspect, and again, acknowledging a blank point in my knowledge of history, I suspect Mao may have killed proportionally more people out of stupid ideology, and they died because of famine. But again, acknowledging a blank spate in mine. Justin, you say China could cause World War III over Taiwan. I would say ridiculous fucking warmongers in the West could cause World War III over China and Taiwan. The stuff I'm hearing out of the US and Australia is fucking horrific, quite honestly. I like that Aussie gun bunny. Stalin, Mao, and Hitler walk into a bar. The barman asks, "Where's the fourth horseman?" And yes, I agree, Chris. What we've seen, particularly in the Soviet Union and China, under the name communism, is just state-controlled capitalism, whereas in the Western countries, it's been market capitalism. And both have terrible, terrible failings. So yeah, it's a fun political discussion to get into towards the tail end. But yeah, it's basically when you have a system that puts supreme executive power in one person's hands, bad things are probably going to happen. Just reminds me of the old Monty Python anarchist peasant bit in the Holy Grail, like, supreme executive power derives from a mandate from the masses, not from some farcical aquatic ceremony. Oh yeah, Safi, your mum growing up in like Ukraine or Russia. Jesus Christ. I can imagine anyone growing up in the east of Europe not wanting to fuck around with talks about socialism or communism. Because I even remember I have an internet friend besides you, Safa, who's Russian. She was living in Australia for a while. I think she may have gone back to Russia. I'm not sure. But anyway, we're friends. And there's a bar in the Melbourne CBD called the Berlin Bar. It's in Chinatown, sort of hidden up a flight of stairs. And there's actually two parts. There's the east and the west. And the whole motif is 80s Berlin and the music they play. So the west is West Berlin. And so it's got all this 80s pop stuff. And the East Berlin side has all this communist propaganda on the wall. And there was a big poster of Stalin behind where I was sitting. So obviously this is funny for a laugh. Everyone say hello to Mimsy. She's come to say hello. For a laugh, I did a selfie holding my cocktail with the Stalin poster behind me saying, sharing a drink with Comrade Stalin. And then my Russian friend commented on it and said, I can't even joke about that murderous fuck. And I was like, oh, yeah, that was actually really insensitive because I was just kind of having a laugh. And I was like, I'm drinking in a bar that has this weird communist propaganda in it. But yeah, to someone who actually grew up in Russia and felt the tail end of the damage of the communist regime, that's super fucking insensitive. And I'm like, yep, I was just doing it as a joke, but it was kind of a dick move. Yeah, and I felt really self-conscious when she actually responded and said, like, I can't even joke about that murderous motherfucker. And I'm like, no, you probably can't. Not a great guy. Joseph Stalin, not a great guy. But yes. So Kirsten, Share the Dignity Collection Drive starts this week. Okay, no, it's the Share the Dignity Collection Drive starts this week. Reminder that people have periods in this country and they sometimes struggle to access period products. Donate if you can. Excellent fucking campaign. Share the dig. Okay, I'm going to find a link for that. Let me see. Share the. Oh, Jesus, I mistyped. Share the Dignity. sharethedignity.org.au. Donate a bag filled with life's essentials for someone who menstruates in need this Christmas at Bunnings. Oh, that's neat. Bunnings are supporting it. Okay, I am just going to post the link in the chat. That is a mighty fine cause. I'm on board with that. So apparently this mob has been around since 2015 and have collected over 600,000 in the bag donations for people who menstruate. There you go. So I'm looking at the donate page. You can donate. There's $49, could help provide a bag filled with essentials. $99, a bag that's extra special, as well as has the essentials as well as additional gifts. $198, a bag for a mum and baby. Includes a handbag for mum, nappy bag. Oh, okay. Yeah. That's a cause I can get behind. I like that. Ah, there you go. Yes, I was a gun buddy. You know that one. When you're working in the office, you used to do that. Ladies who bring in handbags, work filled with stuff. So that seems like a pretty good cause to me. So I'm happy to share that link and so get behind it. So Frankie, saying the dickhead once told you something, says shows I know nothing about the Soviets. People showing us the good things Castro did. Oh, okay. There are definitely some positives about the Castro regime in Cuba. There are definitely a bunch of negatives too. It's hard as an outsider to have an objective view about what's good and what isn't in Cuba, mainly because of the really brutal embargoes and blockades enforced by the US, which has really limited Cuba's ability to operate. This is another one where I will reserve judgment because I don't know enough. But yes, I won't rush to say anything overly positive or overly negative. Frankie, there were positives about Nazis. What? Make the trains run on time? Yeah, no. And I think it's very incorrect to compare the Castro Cuban regime to the Nazis. I think there's no question bad things happened, but From some limited reading I've done, there are a lot of positives in Cuba from the Castro regime that not really heralded in the West, and a lot of the problems in the Cuba may well have been caused not by Castro and his regime, but the embargo from the West. I think there is an area for debate there. So Kirsten's also sponsored a group of young women in Ghana to get menstrual health service and products. Nice. Nice. These are all good causes. I am liking this. Oh God, I just remembered something and I need to check if it's still happening. Awesome Socks Club is what I'm looking at. 100% profit to charity. Okay, it's actually this. Okay, this is a weird one that there's less than 48 hours left to subscribe to Awesome Socks, which the Vlog brothers are behind, mostly Hank Green. If you join the Awesome Socks Club, you get awesome artist design socks each month, and 100% of the profits go to charity. It goes to decrease maternal and child mortality in Sierra Leone, country with the highest maternal death rate in the world. And so far, they've donated over $700,000 to charity. That's a pretty good one. I just thought I'd throw that in because you can also get awesome socks in a subscription service. Lots of good causes out there, basically. Aussie Gun Bunny is a guy on TikTok you follow who is starting a charity called Hunt the Black Dog, which I assume is support for people with depression and not someone who just wants to do a weird fucking thing where they roam the suburbs till they find black dogs and then they shoot them. I assume it's a metaphor. For mental health awareness. And I have always actually been kind of fond of that metaphor for mental health, the black dog. It's a very evocative metaphor, I think. I quite like it. Oh, there you go. Safa, one of your sisters did aid work in Sierra Leone. Well, that's nice. It's good. There are lots of options for people to do good in this world, and it is possibly far too easy for us to be focused on the negative in the world, because there's a shit ton of negative in the world, but there's a bunch of people who do good stuff as well. All right, so the TikTok guy started his charity after he lost his best friend to suicide. Yeah. Man, fucking mental health is a fucking bitch. This is what I say, like, don't believe everything you think. Human brains are fucked, man. They will tell you stuff that's just not true. And when you look at the spectrum of mental health challenges people have, there are so many causes. Sometimes it's trauma, like a sudden acute trauma causes lasting mental health issues. Sometimes it's aggravated, just like long, shitty experience that results in serious mental health challenges. And sometimes it's neither of those. Sometimes the chemicals in your brain are just fucked. And the chemical imbalance in your brain has your brain telling you shit that's just not true. But what do you do when your brain's telling you something? Your brain knows what's happening. Your brain, you're being told these things are true. It's very hard to fight against. But again, it varies from person to person. Sometimes therapy is the answer. Sometimes medication's the answer. Sometimes combinations of therapy and medication are the answer, but it's a very serious health issue. It's very complex. And the best thing you can do if you're suffering mental health challenges is reach out and look for help, because it's real. Dumbest thing anyone said, it's just in your head. Yeah, that's why it's called mental health, you fucking idiot. Physical health, it's just in your body. Why don't you ignore it? You can't. Frankie, you reckon that's why the conspiracy idiots exist? Real world's scary. They need to believe some sinister force can be defeated behind it. I've always thought that was a big driver behind the 9/11 truthers, the people who were convinced the attacks on September 11th were an inside job, because the idea that some poorly resourced terrorist from the other side of the world could hurt America that badly is too terrifying for people, because if it happened once, it could happen again. And what it's telling you is the world is chaotic and out of your control. And some people can't deal with that. So with some people, if they latch on to the idea, I have discovered a secret conspiracy to do these terrible things, I know what's really happening, I know what's behind it, they feel less scared. And it is stunning to me that some people are more comfortable with the idea their own government conspired against them than they are with the idea these random dudes from the other side of the planet can hurt you. Random dudes with no resources hurting you is less scary than I've found the secret, my own government has betrayed me. That does my head in, that people think. I, on one level, I can see why they think like that, because it's more reassuring, but it still does my head in that they think like that. So there's something I'm going to do for the last few minutes before I sign off. Just be back in a sec. I'm just going over here to get a plastic plate. Oh, my movement motivated you to move too, Mimsy. Fair enough. Where are the rest of my lemons? Here. Just going to juice some lemons while I sit here and chat for the last 5 minutes, because that's all the time it'll take. And I want them juiced because sometimes I forget about them and then they go moldy, and that's not good. So Justin, weird fact, Osama bin Laden was fan of 9/11 conspiracies, found truth in material compound. Oh, I bet he loved that on top of being a really successful terrorist attack, the 9/11 attack sort of splintered and fucked up America with these deranged conspiracy theories. I bet he loved that. And Frankie, same outside the US. Yeah, people convince themselves Zionists or lizard people under the earth. It's, for some people, it's reassuring to say it's not that the world's random, chaotic, and uncontrollable, because that's too scary. The idea that shit can just go tits up and you can't control it is too scary. But coming up with some really weird conspiracy, they feel stronger because they go, I have secret knowledge. Safa, was Iraq War Bush Jr. finishing his old man's job? No. That was Dick Cheney. The Iraq War was there was a fucked up and flawed political view of a bunch of right-wingers in America. Saddam Hussein's not playing ball with us. We propped him up for years, and now he's not playing ball with us, and he's threatening our access to oil and the supremacy of the US dollar. We need to get rid of him. We can falsify information about him being a threat and justify an invasion, and then worst of all, they genuinely convinced themselves that would be easy to do, and that would be in and out, no drama. And of course, that's not what happened. It was a huge fuck up. Aussie Gun Bunny, what 9/11 comment did you make? You went long roundabout way. It was an inside job. If they hadn't left Afghanistan in such a shamble in the 80s, none of this would happen. It was an inside job to the extent that it was the fault of America's own foreign policy. So from that perspective, it was an inside job. The root cause of it was America's fucked up foreign policy. But yes, of course, the conspiracy weirdos literally mean the government detonated bombs or used cruise missiles on the Twin Towers as a false flag. It's very weird and fucked up. Frankie, reason 9/11 is possible, very simple. Nobody ever thought the possibility, says zero contingency. The interesting thing is there was a briefing paper to the US president, George W. Bush, that was headlined, Bin Laden determined to strike in the US. But it didn't fit into their ideology, so they ignored it. An FBI agent had a report that some Middle Eastern dudes were behaving suspiciously. They had booked pilot training at a flight training school for 747s, but they said, we don't need to learn how to take off or land an airplane. We just need to learn how to steer it. And the person at this flight school said, that's what someone who wanted to hijack a plane would say. And they actually reported it to the FBI, but their communication lines were so fucked up, there was not a proper investigation. But they actually had the evidence of the 9/11 conspirators planning it. But because it didn't fit into the ideology of the people who were in power, and communication between law enforcement was so fucked up, they didn't investigate it properly. The pieces were all there to tell them what was going to happen, and the pieces weren't put together. And it just wasn't on the radar for the Bush campaign. So Chris is saying the 2000 election wouldn't have been so long, changed all the heads of the administration, would happen quicker. And that's quite possible. Look, if the proper result of the 2000 election and the proper legal result was Al Gore won that election, if that had just happened and been established, and everything could have been different, could have been the same, could have been different, who knows? I was thinking, will be great. Won't melt it. Sure as shit will make it flexible as cooked spaghetti. Yeah, and that's the thing. The planes crashed into the building with immense force, and the explosion of the fuel weakened the beams to the point where they couldn't support the weight of the building anymore. So Chris, happened right for Winner was in charge, would have been quick smash and grab, no Iraq, no invasion. Would have, and yes, Al Gore absolutely would have launched climate change initiatives. There's an alternate timeline that's much better. And yes, Heine, there is essentially no question that Al Gore really won the 2000 election. And there was some just massive fuckery with the Supreme Court to have it declared in George Bush's favor. I think it's absolutely legitimate to say Al Gore rightly won the 2000 election. But anyway, so saying Frankie to Gus Bunny, conspiracy things. Oh yes, the conspiracy idiots too stupid to know the plane crashing in fuel is just a catalyst. Yeah. Anyway, that fun little conspiracy sidetrack to the end and me squeezing some lemons has taken us to the end of the stream. So I have to thank all you fantastic people for hanging out for a while. And see you again. And yes, as a closer, I think that's a good closer, Chris. We would be in again, Al Gore had myriad flaws as a person, but I think it's perfectly reasonable to say if Gore had been declared the winner of the 2000 election, we would be in a much, 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 much better world right now. But anyway, good night, all you fabulous people. I'll see you later. I won't be on tomorrow night. I'll be watching some TV with Mrs. Angry. We're watching The Witcher at the moment. But I'll probably be doing a stream on Tuesday night. So see you then if you're around. Otherwise, just be chill, hang out, be good.